28th of March, a day designated to celebrate women, a day to honor women's existence and their contribution in this world. So today, let's take a moment to appreciate all the ladies in our lives, from hardworking leaders in corporate to nurturing homemakers, from brave soldiers to innovative minds chasing inventions, from doctors, engineers and teachers to house helps and caretakers, from mothers, daughters, sisters and friends to colleagues, lovers and life partners. Also to men who are especially worried about Men's Day today, Happy Women's Day. This day is the fruit of the labor of thousands of women who fought for equal rights, who spoke up against mistreatment and demanded equal footing with men. While the struggle is centuries old, the idea of Women's Day first emerged at the turn of the 20th century. It was the period of rapid industrialization, booming population growth, and radical ideologies. USA's Socialist Party had newly formed Women's National Committee. The year was 1908. There was anger over the suffering of women. It boiled over in the form of mass strikes and protests. How did the committee respond? By designating a day each year to campaign. In 1909 on 20th February, which was the last Sunday of the month, first ever National Women's Day was celebrated in the US. A year later, the Socialist International met in Copenhagen and established an International Women's Day. The conference of over 100 women from 17 countries unanimously approved the proposal. Still, no fixed date was selected for the special day. In 1911, International Women's Day was celebrated for the first time on 19th March in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland. More than 1 million women and men attended the rallies. They demanded women's right to vote and hold public office. They also demanded the right to work and have vocational training. These fierce women called for an end to discrimination at workplaces. Less than a week later, on March 25th, a massive fire broke out at the Triangle Shirtwaist factory in New York City. The tragic incident killed more than 140 working girls. Most of them were Italian and Jewish immigrants. This event left a mark on the labor legislation in the US. The working conditions that led up to the disaster were discussed in the years that followed. Meanwhile, in Russia, women observed their first International Women's Day on the last Sunday of February in 1913. This was part of the peace movement on the eve of the First World War. As history has it, peace was nowhere to be found. 3 years later, with over 2 million Russian soldiers dead in the war, women again chose the last Sunday of February to hold a strike. This time, for bread along with peace. Political leaders opposed the timing of the strike, but the women endured. The rest is history. 4 days later, the Tsar was ousted, and the provisional government granted Russian women the right to vote. That historic Sunday fell on February 23rd on the Julian calendar, which was then followed in Russia. But it was March 8th according to the Georgian calendar used in the other parts of the world. And that is how International Women's Day, as we know it, came into existence. Maybe in a more just and equal world, we wouldn't need a special day to advocate for women's rights. But right now, we do. According to a report by UN Women, it will take around 285 years to close the gender gap. According to the World Economic Forum, gender parity is at least 131 years away. So the fight for equality continues. Arzoo for NDTV.